We've all dreamed of gaining effortless speed, smashing the ball past your playing partners, feeling that incredible power through impact, and doing it all without forcing it to take place. Well, just imagine adding over 20 miles an hour of club head speed, but it actually feeling easier than before. Well, my student James was able to achieve this in just one single lesson with me. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 exact powerful changes we made to his golf swing that made this possible. And just for the record, adding 1 mile per hour extra club head speed to your golf swing is pretty much approximately the equivalent of 3 yards. Do that calculation. It's pretty remarkable. So for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Harry, a golf teach professional, posting content just like this every single week to help you lower your score. So consider clicking that subscribe button, as it helps me produce more content like this every single week, and it's completely free to do. So at the start of the lesson, after taking a look at James's golf swing, I knew that we needed to get a couple of the fundamentals in to take place first, for then to see the remarkable results that we did at the end of the lesson. So the first change that we did was all to do with the way he set up to the golf ball. His setup was limiting his rotation into the golf swing, getting that extra bit of leverage into the golf swing back and forth, and therefore generating that club head speed. So what we did with James, just to start off with, was going through a simple routine that I'll talk you through now that will help anyone get themselves into a more athletic and more reliable posture position without adding any unwanted strain to your body. So taking the club and placing it across your shoulders like this, we had our feet ever so slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Now from this position here, you want to be just making sure you're bending your knees a little bit. And then this is where the tricky bit came in for James here. What we were trying to do was bump those hips back at this point here, so our spine angle would stay nice and straight as we lower ourselves to the golf ball here. What James was doing a little bit was getting this sort of reverse C in at the spine angle and then bumping those hips back, and that was causing him to get a little bit too much pressure when he tried this on his spine. So rather than seeing this hunched over position that we had him in at the start and then seeing this reverse C, we wanted to look at something in the middle. So the bonus tip that I gave James at the start of the session simply was just to allow the hips to crunch inwards like this towards the ribs. So we could feel this tension here around the core area. So it felt to him like his glutes were switched on, his hips were switched on, bumping those hips upwards like this here, so that when he tilted over like this into his posture and setup position, his back was nice and straight, so he wasn't getting any unwanted tension or stress in the golf swing. So once we were all set into this nice flat position here with the spine angle, I just told James to take the club out in front of him like this and allowed his hands to pull down towards the body so they were hanging directly down in relation to the ground, and that allowed him to get into this awesome setup position here. So we just simply started off with hitting a few shots just like this, getting used to what that felt like. Now we noticed a couple of shots go a bit to the left, a bit to the right, and I said to him, there's nothing to worry about there. That's just simply you getting used to this new setup in order for the rest of the swing, the rest of the moves that I'm going to give you to take place. So if you do find when you film yourself just to check up on this, I'd highly recommend it, and you find that you are a little bit too sort of hunched over like this and standing too tall to the golf ball, as we noticed James do here, then I'd highly recommend using this drill when you take a look at the after results. It simply just helped him swing the golf club better, and it made his overall setup look miles better as well. So after hitting those shots, getting used to this, it was time to add in the rotation. So what we noticed in James's golf swing when you take a look at this after making the change number 1 was that the hip here, this trail hip, didn't really rotate enough into the backswing. And again, that would stop him from generating a lot of pressure and movement into the backswing. And we want to generate pressure into this trail side to be able to increase the club head speed during the downswing. So after we got James used to getting into that new posture and setup position, it was time to unlock the hip rotation. The hip rotation, as I mentioned before, was limiting his leverage into his golf swing and also limiting how much pressure he could add either side of the body. Now, pressure is key to be able to generating that effortless club head speed in your golf game, because it's a very simple force that we can use that just makes it so much easier to add. So to do this, what I got him to do was taking the club again back across the shoulders and getting him set up into this position here. Now, what I said to him was, see if he could get the club end here, the butt end of the golf club, to point above the golf ball like this here. So what you'll notice that as I do this, I'm able to really switch on this hip, my trail hip, my right hip being a right-handed player, as I rotate the body into the backswing. So when I take the club now out in front here, you can see how much more width I've created into the backswing, how much more leverage I've created into the backswing, a much longer golf swing in comparison to where he swung it before. But look how much more pressure I'm able to add into this trail side. Now, one of the things James was making the mistake of doing, and I want you to keep an eye on this when you give this a try as well, is that when he was rotating into the backswing, especially when using the golf club, you'll notice that his upper body wanted to tilt a little bit too far this way. So rather than keeping, almost picturing a green dotted line going from my sternum down towards my hips, my hip line here, so my belt buckle, rather than keeping this as we make our way into the backswing, what he was having that tendency of doing was shifting this way. And you can see there when we get this shift taking place of the upper body where the shoulders are, it keeps the hips back and therefore we get this big tilted angle into the backswing. Why is that going to be difficult to make contact and build club head speed? Well, it's just a really awkward position for us to then try and get back to square. If we're already square with the upper body nice and vertical to the ground, all we have to do is rotate back round. And that's when we can generate that speed. So I decided to take an alignment stick and placed it just right up against his head like this here. And what I said to him was, when you make your backswing and you feel that hip rotation there, you're just trying to stay pretty much over the golf ball. Again, not over the golf ball like this. You just want to stay over the golf ball in a way that forces you to rotate the hips round and avoid hitting that imaginary stick that we placed here for James. So I placed the stick there for James just to make that much easier for him to force that twisting sensation of this hip going back and around, which calmed down the majority of that shift moving away from the golf ball. Now the trick for the downswing was to implement the opposite move. So the trail hip, the right hip, works back and around into the backswing, but for the downswing, we want to be working the opposite hip, the lead hip, the left hip for right-handed players. So once we got to the top of the golf swing with this feeling, all I said to James was that as he was to transition into that downswing was just to simply do the opposite. So get the club end to point over the golf ball. And once we got used to doing this either side a couple of times, I just said to him, right, well now you can start to allow that right heel to lift up. Just really getting that sensation of right hip back, left hip back. But when we get that left hip back, we're really pushing through onto our lead side by going a little bit quicker on the way through, but allowing this trail foot to start to lift up, the trail heel to lift up. Of course, we don't want the whole foot lifting off the ground, otherwise we just fall over. So before we move on to stage number 3, this is where we really started to see the difference. I just wanted to let you know that I do offer in-person and online coaching. So if you would like more personalized tuition to suit your golf swing, I'm currently running some awesome programs, and I'm also helping students down here at this fantastic indoor facility lower their scores. So consider checking out the links in the description below. If you are stuck with anything in your golf game, I can help in all aspects. I look forward to meeting you over there. So right hip back, left hip back. Much better strike there than the first one, just keeping the posture, and much better golf shot as well. So stage number 3 was where it started to ramp up with in terms of the speed that we were able to generate into his golf swing. So although we got the body switched on, we wanted to get the arms switched on and the hands and wrists switched on correctly to be able to build up that speed straight away. Because what you've got to remember is that although the body is the initial engine, let's imagine it, picture it as the engine to our golf swing, the arms, hands, wrists and club are the wheels to the golf swing that implement that speed. So if the wheels to the car aren't working properly, or there's a puncture in one of your tyres, it's not going to go very far, is it? So we've got to ensure that we are allowing one thing in particular to take place, and that is getting the arms to work correctly and to get them loose as we make our way into the backswing and downswing. Now you'll notice here that I've got my feet together, and this is what I got James doing just to really switch on the arm movement. I said to him, what if I was to give you, I gave him a speed stick for this, but you can use your driver if you wanted to, or an iron if it feels more comfortable. But I said, what if I was just to get you to stand with your feet together and to make swings as fast as you can? Well, you can only rotate the body so much to generate that speed, so it all has to come down to the arm movement. It's the sensation of throwing the golf club through, really whipping the club on the way through at the moment of impact. So I'm thinking about really whipping the golf club and hearing that speed, hearing the swoosh noise coming from the golf club from where I would make contact with the golf ball. So pretty much at the bottom of my golf swing. Now, although this looks like you're having to put a lot of effort in, stand up with me now and give this one a try, because it really does feel easy. As long as you relax your arms and switch your arms off, no tension to do this movement. We're just allowing that speed from that whip effect to take place during the downswing. And that's where we started to really see the ramp up in the speed. It took a couple of shots for James to get used to just to begin with, but when you take a look at the video from before the lesson to after the lesson, it was a much better, more effortless golf swing. And the best part about adding or testing those 3 steps into your golf swing is that it works with every single club in the bag, from the irons all the way up to the driver, as long as we're just changing the setup just to suit the club itself. So if driver, of course, we're having it ever slightly more forward in the stance, ever so slightly wider stance as well, and we're going to be standing obviously a lot further away from the golf ball for this golf shot. But applying those feels, so we've got that posture in a more tilted athletic position, going through that routine that we had from step number 1. Number 2 was all to do with switching on those hips, turning those hips into the backswing, the right hip in the backswing, and then lead hip, left hip into the downswing. And the final step, where we saw loads of speed taking place, was all to do with the arm movement, relaxing those arms, switching those arms off, but switching them on in a way that was to get that club actually whipping through and hearing that swoosh noise from the golf club. So for whenever you practice this, I'd recommend, once you're getting set up into your posture, your thoughts for the backswing and downswing are trail hip into the backswing, and then we're turning this lead hip into the downswing as we whip the golf club through. So let's see if I can do that with the driver on this tricky hole here at Oakmont, where they've just hosted the US Open. That sounded really nice, it felt really good, and I think a really nice drive down there. If I was to play that course in real life, I'd certainly take that drive every day of the week. Nice club head speed shown on that one as well, 118.8 miles an hour. And when you compare the 2 swing videos of James from before and after the lesson using his iron, these are the distance gains and club head speed gains he was able to achieve, going from 62 yards to as high as 117 yards with his 8 iron, and 50 miles an hour club head speed, ramping it up to 72 miles an hour. And that wasn't even his fastest one. His fastest one got up to 74 miles an hour. So again, huge differences there in distance. Imagine what this could do with your irons, but also your driver. Now, if you would like a more in-depth video on how to use the driver and generate more club head speed applying these 3 movements, then feel free to drop a comment down below. I would love to see at least 30 comments down below asking for this, and I will get that video done for you. Don't forget to check out my in-person and online coaching if you're looking for more personalized coaching to suit your golf swing, and be sure to check out this video over here if you're looking for more videos on helping you hit the golf ball further and helping you generate more club head speed.